Did we read the book?
Yes,
Did we understand it?
it's debatable. Welcome to Reading Between the Wines.
Where the books are questionable
The opinions are strong.
and the wine is absolutely necessary. I'm Cici.
And I'm Mariana, and today we have thoughts.
So many thoughts.
So pour yourself something strong.
You're gonna need it.
Let's uncork this week's read. And what are we drinking today?
Today we are drinking a rosé. Not the cheap, sugary beach party rosé you expect from the cover, but a dry, elegant rosé with more depth than it first appears. Just like Beach Read by Emily Henry. It looks light and fun on the surface, but underneath there's grief, family drama, self-discovery, and some surprisingly emotional moments. It's a perfect wine for sitting by the water, pretending you're reading a fluffy romance, and then suddenly finding yourself crying at 11 p.m. over fictional people. As one does. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you what Beach Read is about. It follows January Andrews, which, by the way, January as a name, weird. Right? No one loves January.
August is okay.
I like June.
June is beautiful.
January.
And then you'd end up calling her Jan anyways, so you might as well just call her Jan.
It's one of the worst months of the year. I don't understand why you would want.
Well, she must have hated her kids so much, she named it after the worst month.
So anyway.
So anyway.
Follows January Andrews, a romance writer who no longer believes in happily ever afters after discovering family secrets and losing her father. While spending the summer in a lakeside beach house, she runs into a college rival, Gus Everett, a literary fiction author dealing with his own emotional baggage. Struggling with writer's block, they make a bet. January will write literary fiction, Gus will write a romance, and they will help each other research along the way. If you know what I mean. What starts as rivalry turns into friendship, healing, and ultimately a love story about accepting that people and life are rarely as simple as they seem. This book is turning into a movie, and there's this girl on TikTok that hates the casting. I want to know, what do you think Gus and January look like?
Gus for me was like tall, brooding, short hair. Not short hair, but like wavy hair. Doesn't take care of himself, maybe like a little shadow beard. January for me, she was all about romance. She's bright and bubbly. I don't remember how they describe her in the book. When I think about her now, maybe she would be like either a really light brunette or like a blonde. Very girly and like dainty. Anti-Gus.
Can you think of like any actors that look similar to the ones you picture in your head?
I could see maybe Lily Reinhart
Mm-hmm.
as January. For Augustus, it would be like a Garrett Graham type.
Okay.
Am I answering this right? I feel like this is the test. Am I failing?
It's just how you see them. It's totally fine. Okay, so Gus, he's described as olive skin, dark, messy, slightly curly hair with a few gray strands beginning to show. Dark, intense eyes, sharp high cheekbones, crooked mouth, and slightly dented nose. That makes him distinctive rather than conventionally handsome. That's Gus. Who was cast as Gus?
Who the fuck is that?
That's Patrick Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's son? Unless they fix him.
And then for January, she is described as fair skin, long, wavy blonde hair, bright blue eyes, petite, with soft, feminine build, warm, expressive smile.
This is exactly how I described her.
Often dressed in colorful clothes, floral dresses, oversized sweaters, or comfortable casual outfits that reflect her optimism and personality. Have you ever watched Bridgerton?
Yeah.
You know Daphne? January.
No. I mean, she's great.
As January and Gus.
So she dyes her hair. Is that her? She got blonde?
No, that's not blonde. Look, she doesn't look blonde.
That does not look like her. That is not her.
Very blonde,
That is wild. Now, what do you think about this?
Listen, sometimes here's the thing. Ever since Connor's story, I always give the benefit of the doubt. I was very against Connor as Ilya because that's not how I picture Ilya at all. And then Connor completely blew me away. So now, every time the casting is not what I really pictured, I'm like, well, we'll see. Garrett Graham, the Belmont, not what I picture as Garrett Graham, did a really fantastic job. Even though he looks very old to be in uni, he did a good job.
Older people can go to university too.
Well, he's playing like a 23-year-old, and he does not look 23 to me. Okay, that was a bit distractive when I was watching the TV show, but I still think he did a fantastic job. He's a good actor.
If we're gonna talk about anyone there, it's Tucker, because that's not.
Oh my
Tucker.
goodness, Tucker!
Welcome to the Science Corner.
You know, ants could have wings.
Oh yeah, but those are like, don't those ants bite?
They better not.
These ants do bite and sting.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know. The hell? Are you crazy?
But they don't actively feel
I'm
threatened.
I'm gonna disconnect this call.
I had one of those bite my ass once.
Mariana, are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. What in the world? Anyway, so what did you think this book was going to be before you started?
I mean, it's called Beach Read. I just thought it was going to be like, first off, kudos to the outfit. It's perfect for the podcast.
It's when you have a boyfriend at 5, but you have to go to the beach as well. You know what I mean?
That's range. The friggin' name of the book is Beach Read. I just thought it was going to be a light, fluffy, girls drink wine on the beach and like fall in love with a grumpy man situation. Sunscreen, banter, maybe like one emotional scene max. Like, I wasn't expecting... Did she just give me the finger? Always pinkies up. Pinkies up when you drink. Just so you know, it's classy. And now we know if we ever want to scare Cynthia, we just put some ants on her food while she, like fake ones, We can just get some fake ones and put them on her food and then she'd scream. It'll be hilarious. Or is that evil? No, it's funny. It'll be funny. She might cry. Sorry, when she leaves I get lonely.
You again talking to yourself, babes.
Oh, I'm talking to Inej. Leave us alone. So, I was expecting sunscreen, banter, and maybe like one emotional scene max. Instead, I got grief, betrayal, existential crises from both parties, and multiple scenes of people aggressively confronting their childhood trauma. And I was not prepared for the emotional whiplash of going from they're building a sandcastle metaphor to like, let's unpack the collapse of your entire belief system about love. That was like a slap to the face. And you didn't expect that from a book called Beach Read. When you see that, you're like, oh, it's gonna be a beach read. No, absolutely not. Rude.
No, it's at the beach. Do not.
What about you? What did you think the book was going to be before you started?
I have a small confession. I read this book at least a year ago, if not more. I remember going through TikTok and someone talking about beach read, and this was summer as well. So I was like, oh, this is a very summery
Was an ant whispering over your shoulder?
The tree branches keep hitting the window, and I keep...
Okay, you know that there's a tree there hitting it. Do you think a man is there going like...
Yes, my brain doesn't know the difference, okay? My brain is like, yes, there's a tree, but I will only realize there's a tree once I look at it again, and I'm like, oh, it's a tree. So anyway, I was just like, oh, this is a very summery romance. Yes, let's get into it. I thought it was like a light, fluffy, enemies to lovers romance with minimal emotional depth. Instead, I got grief, family secrets, writer's block, existential crisis, and surprisingly, a beautiful story about learning to live with messy truths. I really like this book. If you had to pick one quote to summarize this book, what would it be?
The quote I picked was, "It was just another good day, a perfect day. A happy for now, so vast and deep that I knew, or rather believed, I didn't have to worry about tomorrow." That was such a beautiful line. I think it's the entire premise of Beach Read, because it's not about finding the perfect love. It's not about having perfect love. It's about temporary certainty. January starts off believing that love is like stable and predictable and forever. That's what she writes about. That's what she knows, because that's what she saw with her parents, right? And then her entire world just kind of like collapses when she learns about her dad's double life. What she learns, especially through Gus, I think, is that love doesn't need to be guaranteed to be meaningful. It can just be true right now. You're living in the moment right now instead of worrying about what's going to happen. It's terrifying, but it's beautiful. It just kind of shows nothing is promised, nothing is permanent, but you choose to feel it anyways, to live in that happy for now. And I think that's what makes it real. So this quote for me was just like,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I loved it. Now, let's hear your quote. I gotta hear it.
I actually have two that I deeply connect to. Not because I have a partner, God forbid, but because I have a son. That means the literal universe to me. I know I talk about like parents and stuff all episodes, and I've talked about my kid like so many times. One time, one of my friends said to me that I'm obsessed with my kid, and honestly, she's completely correct. I am obsessed with that kid. I love him so much. Again, he's the universe to me, not the world, the actual universe. So at one point, I think it's even in a dedication. She says, I've never met someone who is so perfectly my favorite person. When I watch you sleep, I feel overwhelmed that you exist. And I know it's supposed to be about your partner, but I cannot tell you the amount of times I've watched my kid sleep, and I just feel my heart grow and grow and grow with love. Since the moment he was born, I remember holding him during the night, on the first night he was born, and just looking out of the window and feeling this incredible, powerful love. And at the moment, I didn't even know it was love because I was full of hormones, but it was just like this incredible, overwhelming feeling of like, holy shit, loving this person so much that you would do anything for them. And again, I know this is about romantic love, but these two quotes meant, I remember reading the Perfectly My Favorite Person and just thinking about my kid. How lucky am I that I made my perfect person? He just came to teach me so many different lessons, some not great about myself. You learn a lot about yourself when you become a mom. I feel like that's why I'm so harsh when it comes to shitty parents, and I do have my share of thoughts about that this episode, so don't go anywhere. Again, I know this is about romantic love, but I just feel like love comes in every form, and sometimes, the other day I told my mom, like, I'm gonna be single forever, and she's like, no you're not, you'll find someone, and I was just like, that's not what when I say this, is not because I want you to tell me you gotta find someone, because my life is so full of love. Okay, it's not romantic love, but it's full of love. I have so many good people around me. I don't feel like I need to fill up that space. Sometimes I look at my friends and like my son and my family, and I'm just so overwhelmed with emotion. Again, this has nothing to do with the book, but yeah, my son is perfectly my favorite person, and I'm overwhelmed with happiness and love, and sometimes those scary feelings that he exists. So this is to my son. I hope that one day you will listen to this and be like, my mom is so cute. Boxed wine or Vineyard Elite?
It's like Vineyard Elite pretending to be boxed wine. So I think it is Vineyard Elite, but it's like pretending to be boxed wine. It markets itself as like a cute summer read, but suddenly let's discuss infidelity, emotional repression, and generational expectations. So it's like the literary equivalent of showing up to a picnic and someone hands you a glass of wine that tastes expensive and emotionally devastating. I think it's Vineyard Elite.
I'm actually, I don't have no words because I have the exact same thing. I said it's Vineyard Elite masquerading as boxed wine.
Why do we always have the same things?
I'm like shocked. I'm actually like, when you started talking, I was like, excuse the fuck out of me? It has the colorful cover and rom-com marketing, but underneath is a thoughtful literary romance dealing with grief, identity, and complicated family dynamics.
Oh my god, we're so in tune. Who annoyed you more?
Who do you think it is?
Is it January's dad? I knew it was.
Every revelation about him somehow managed to make things worse. His decisions created so much pain for the people around him that the emotional fallout drives a huge portion of this story. If it wasn't for him, there would be no story. She would probably not even be at the lake.
She would still believe in true love.
Yeah, so I mean, thank you, I guess, for the story. Jesus, I hate men. Why are you cheating on your...
You hate parents, usually. So...
No. I hate shitty parents.
You hate shitty parents, and usually men. So, you've got a theme.
I'm nothing if not consistent. If there's a man, if he's a parent, if he's bad, I hate him.
Oh.
Sue me. What about you?
Well, it was January's dad, because even though he's not, like, physically present, his choices literally wreck her, tear her apart, and blow up her entire worldview of what she thought love was about. Basically, he had a long-term affair. The fact that he built a whole separate life at the lake house just kind of, like, lingers over everything. You didn't just cheat, you built a second personality, and that is commitment in the worst way. So, sir, here's your medal that says fuck you. Who did you relate to more?
Honestly, January. Not necessarily because of her... What? Why are you...
I have the same thing as you.
Not because of her circumstances, but because of her tendency to cling to the version of reality she wants to believe until life forces her to confront something more complicated. She's like, I'm in the Lulu, and life is like, no. Life is like with rocks throwing at her. Get with the times, please. I'm her. I'm the Lulu until I'm forced to not be the Lulu. Why is January the person you relate to?
The whole spiral of realizing that your life narrative isn't real anymore, the way she clings to romance as a structure and then completely unravels when it stops making sense. I didn't just relate to who she is in the book, but I related to who she used to be. There's a phrase that she says that described her old self, and it was the one who loved throwing themed parties and coordinating group costumes, couldn't go to the gas station or stand in line in the post office without winding up making plans. My phone was riddled with contacts like Sarah, the anchor bar, cute dog, things like that. That's actually literally who I was.
Was? Why?
Oh, well, I still am.
Don't lie to us. It's not was, it's is.
That part of it, like, I related to so hard, and that version of January, that's me.
I feel like you are the before and I'm the after.
Maybe, yeah. When we all went to Santush, which is like a festival here, everybody goes, drinks and eats sardines in the street and party and beer, and I was doing shots. Vodka shot, of course. And,
body shots?
No. Vodka shots.
Oh.
Who would I do body shots off of?
Your partner.
Yeah, because they would just lie on the floor of...
Listen, and I'm not here to judge.
I was literally talking to everybody. We made a group of, like, a bunch of guys. We were just singing Sweet Caroline together, and then, like... Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. I lost my voice the next day. Then I met two girls. They weren't from here. They were from the Netherlands. I just went up to them and I started talking to them. And I was like, you guys should go try Jinja. It's really good. And it's like a cherry liqueur. And I told them where to go find it and to eat the chocolate cup. My partner was just staring at me and they were just like, why do you literally talk to everybody? It's just who I am. And my dad was there. My dad was also talking to people. And they were like, oh, I see who you get it from. It's just who we are. We love talking to people. That's how you make friends. Friendships don't start in deep, meaningful settings. They start in chaos. One of my almost oldest friends, she used to work with me at my old company. I literally just walked up to her and I complimented her shoes. And then I asked her if she wanted to go get bubble tea. That's how we started our friendship. She's the one who gave me this necklace that I wear, that I never take off. That's just literally me. I start conversations with everyone. It just shows you how, like, a connection can come out of nowhere, and how you can meet someone in the most unglamorous and unplanned moment, and that it can stick because it means something. I think that's why this part of, like, January hits so hard. It's because it's not just about her losing her belief in love, it's about losing that curiosity about people. And that's sad. I didn't want to see that for her.
Yeah, I relate to her as in the bit after, the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime anyone is nice, I'm like, why? What do you want?
Speculation. We gotta do an investigation here.
Yeah. But then I'm also nice to everyone, and I never expect anything in return. But if someone is too nice to me, I'm like, I don't trust it. I don't trust you. But I also can make conversation with anyone if I'm in a mood. But I will not be talking to you in the middle of the street. If I'm in a bar with you or in a coffee shop and you start talking to me, I've actually made a friend. I used to always drop my kid at school, right? And I catch the bus back home. So a lady used to always get the bus with me back home, and we just started talking, and I was just friends with her. Obviously, she started talking to me.
Oh, okay. She started talking to you.
Obviously.
Side note, I did see like a woman crying on the bus once. I was very early in Portugal, didn't really speak Portuguese, but I went to sit next to her and I just like held her hand and I was like, are you okay? And then she started telling me about her son was stuck in a war zone or something, and then she became my friend. I helped her get home and we became friends because she actually lived very close to me. For fuck's sake. Oh no, a tree.
Fuck you. Any honorable mentions?
I think it's gotta be Shadi.
Oh
my god!
Same!
She's the emotional backbone we need. She's like chaotic, she's supportive, and she's always ready to like hype January up or call her out. The way that she just shows up and immediately reads the situation between her and Gus, that's just elite best friend behavior. I love Shadi. I wish she was involved more, to be honest. So you have the same?
Yeah, I have the same. I need to set Shaylee for being a fantastic friend. Would you want this relationship in real life?
I mean, yeah, I guess, but like only after like some therapy. They have like the tension, the intellectual connection, which is great. The way they challenge each other, I think it's incredible. I think it's nice. That's what you want. But the emotional avoidance, the miscommunication, and the let's not talk about our feelings until everything explodes. Nah, you gotta communicate. That miscommunication, that's so boring. Like, no.
Yeah.
No. What about you? Would you want this relationship in real life?
I said yes. Once Gus and January actually communicate, their relationship is built on friendship, respect, and respect and supporting each other's ambitions. That's a solid foundation. I think that most good relationships that at least I know normally always start with friendship. If you want to be my friend, gotta get with
my friend. Gotta get with my friends.
Was the drama justified?
Yes, but also just fucking communicate, yeah? January's grief over her dad and Gus's trauma from his past relationships, especially the way he views love as something temporary and unreliable, that makes sense. That part, I think, is justified. But the way they both just sit on their feelings instead of saying literally anything useful, it was absolutely infuriating. Part of it was justified, part of it was not. What about you?
Yeah, mostly. The family revelations, grief, and emotional baggage felt realistic. We all have family trauma. We all have something that our family member did or parent did that fucked us up. I feel like that's realistic. Some of the misunderstandings, though, could have been solved with a slightly longer conversation. But compared to many romances, the conflict felt earned. Because again, it comes from trauma that they both experienced. They didn't start off like that. They became like that because of what's happened to them. And they were both just coming out of that trauma. It made sense for them to be like, I don't fully trust people yet. Do you think this is a red flag or book boyfriend? Now listen, you do not disrespect my Gus Everett.
Okay, well, you're gonna be disappointed. So,
fuck you.
He only basically redeems himself at the fucking end, okay? You gotta hear the whole thing. You gotta hear me out. I think Gus is a little bit of a red flag that needs to go to therapy, but he's trying for January. He's emotionally guarded for the majority of the book. He's pessimistic. I hate that. And he's most often frustrating. But he listens and supports January's writing and takes her serious, so I like that part. For me, he's like a conditional book boyfriend, and I would just say, proceed with caution. That's it.
I find it hilarious after all the books you made us read that you think that Gus is not a book boyfriend. But
where's the communication? At least the
Are you joking? Or are you actually joking right
They
now?
make it known that they say, I'm obsessed with you, I'm gonna take you, you're mine. If anyone touches you, they die. They tell you their intentions,
you know? Read a book where the first 500 pages is just stalking her.
But wasn't she also... Wait, which book is this? Oh, Graves. After he came out of prison, he made himself known.
Yeah, because she was with his brother. I don't think that if that was the case, it would take longer for him to show up.
That's so cute, though. That's like, I love you, and I'm so committed. I'm gonna find out everything about you first. I love that.
And the communication is nowhere to be seen.
That's okay.
This one is okay. But for Gus and January...
No, because this is a romance. When you read dark romance, you know what you're getting into. And with this, Gus just needed to get his shit together.
The double standards.
What about you? Do you think he's a red flag or a book boyfriend?
Obviously, a book boyfriend is firmly into book boyfriend territory. He's thoughtful, emotionally intelligent, funny, pays attention. The man literally spends most of the book encouraging January to believe in herself. Yes, he has some traumas and stuff, but who hasn't? You know what I mean? Once they communicate, it's like smooth sailing from there. So yes, book boyfriend, of course.
Yeah, they communicate at the last 20 pages of the book. Great.
Fuck you and your double standards. Because listen, the amount of books I read where he stalks her for like 60% of the book without ever talking to her, the following 40% is like, I love you. You've never spoken to her. What do you mean? You love her.
He's seen everything.
You have never spoken to her and you're like, I love you. Anyway, moments that made us laugh, cry, or scream.
The whole romance field trip idea where Gus tries to understand happy endings by taking January to interview couples. That was like cute in theory, but it was a little bit ridiculous if you think about it. Also, that scene where they break into that cult-like retreat for her serious book research. This is gonna either end up in enlightenment or a police report because it was so weird. I was like, what the heck is going on? Also, we haven't talked about this. The notes. January and Gus leave each other these messages instead of just texting like normal people. I loved it. For me, that felt like intentional and intimate. There's nothing like leaving a note for somebody. I do that for my partner. Sometimes I'll write a fact and I'll put a post-it on their computer. Did you know snails hibernate for 3 months? Just something funny. And then I draw a picture of a snail. Whenever we leave for trips or something, we leave each other like a note. I have so many notes. Like, I keep them all. I keep everything, anything that anybody's written on, I keep.
That's
so I love it. It totally gave like Taylor Swift music energy video. The window scene, You Belong With Me.
Like this.
Yes, we love a good Taylor Swift coded romance. Come on.
Love.
I loved it. I thought it was cute. What about you? Anything that made you laugh, cry, or scream?
Cry, realizing grief isn't about losing someone, it's about losing who you thought they were. I feel like sometimes we can grieve people that haven't actually died, just who you thought they were. That's really sad, you know, even though the person is still here, you just have to go through. Obviously, her dad is gone, but it just made me think of a lot of people in my life that I just had to come to terms with the fact that they are not who I thought they were. Growing up, you think your parents know everything and you just think really highly of them, and then you grow up and you're like, actually, you're quite shitty, aren't you? Not from a personal experience, by the way. Well, anyway, I actually have a scene that I want to talk about here. Gus is telling January about his divorce, and he says, I didn't even want a divorce. I would have stayed with her even after the affair. But guess what, January? Happy endings don't happen to everyone. There's nothing you can do to make someone keep loving you. Believe it or not, I don't just sit through hours of conversations with you silently judging you. And if it takes me a while to tell you things like, hey, my wife left me for my college roommate, maybe it has nothing to do with you, okay? Maybe it's because I don't like saying that sentence out loud. I mean, your mom didn't leave you when your dad cheated on her, and my mom didn't leave my dad when he broke my fucking arm, and yet I couldn't do anything to make my wife stay. The part where he says, there's nothing you can do to make someone keep loving you is so real. I think I've said this before, but like I relate to a lot of characters that just stand there and be like, can you just please love me? Be a good person. And he's just like, you can't do anything for someone to stay. And that's a lesson that I should have learned as I was growing up, because a lot of people left. Guess what? I'm still 30 and still learning that lesson. You can't make someone love you, even though
it's the tree.
Sometimes you just change something about yourself or keep changing yourself to like accommodate that person, make yourself feel smaller so that person can take up the space they want. If that person doesn't see me or doesn't hear from me, if I'm the way this person thinks I am, or if I act this way or whatever, the person will love me. That's just not true. It took me a while to learn that lesson. I'm still learning that lesson, but like no one's gonna truly love you unless you are yourself.
And if they don't love you for that, then they can go fuck themselves.
And also, not everyone's gonna love you.
I know majority of people don't like me, so...
That's crazy. That is ridiculous. That you're insane, actually. Everyone loves you. If someone doesn't like you, it doesn't mean that that person is wrong and you're right, or vice versa. It just means that your morals don't mix. And that's okay. It's okay for you guys not to mix. It's okay for you not to see yourself in that person and her not to see herself in you. It's just like everyone's different, and that's the fun. Do you have any controversial takes?
Oh my gosh. An obvious one. Beach Read is not a rom-com. This is a grief story wearing a rom-com outfit, basically. And I think people go into it expecting lightness and getting emotionally blindsided. Also, Gus writing romance is less about love and more about him trying to believe it's possible, which is why I think it works. That's my controversial takes.
I also have that as a controversial take. I also think that it's not very much of a rom-com. It's more about grief and finding yourself, realizing that, you know, sometimes life and the person that you love is not who you imagine it to be. And it's okay to also grieve that. Once again, I'm going to talk about my kid. When I was pregnant, you always imagine, even though you try not to, you always imagine what the person you're giving life to, it's going to be like. And sometimes the idea you had in your head of what motherhood was going to be like isn't exactly what you end up having. And it's okay to grieve that as well. I love my kid, but it's okay to grieve the motherhood I thought I was going to have with him. The person I thought I was going to be raising my kid isn't the person that I am, because he's not the kid that I picture in my head. Still perfect and still amazing, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. And it's okay to grieve that. It's okay to grieve a friendship that you thought it was going to last forever. It's okay to grieve a relationship that you thought was going to be forever. And I think this book is a lot about grief and less about romantic love. The book works because January and Gus are flawed. Making them less messy would have made the story less impactful. They are human, and obviously you're not always going to say the right thing or do the right thing. So I think they're really good characters. Do you have any memorable moments?
The one that sticks out to me is the moment when January reads her dad's letters and she starts to understand the complexity of his relationships and realizes love isn't as simple as she thought. It was sad because it's like you're saying, she was grieving the dad that she thought she had, and now she's also grieving this version of the dad. It's very sad and it's grief, and I can imagine that that's not an easy thing to do, and it was very brave of her to even go through that. I don't know what I would do in her situation, to be honest. And I think the moment where she and Gus finally confront each other, I think most of the story they tend to hide behind sarcasm and stuff like that. When they finally start to talk, that payoff is also earned. Those were the memorable moments for me. What about you?
The banter between January and Gus, top tier. The book club will forever be one of my favorite scenes. Hold on. When they leave the book club, he goes, the passenger window rolled down and Gus leaned across the seat, ducking his head to see me. January, beside Augustus, it's been 4 minutes. No Uber's coming. Would you please get in the car? She says. I'll walk. He says. Why? She says, because I need the exercise. Not to mention the pneumonia. It's 65 degrees out, I said. You're literally shivering. Maybe I'm trembling with the anticipation of an exhilarating walk home, he says. Maybe your body temperature is plummeting and your blood pressure and heart rate are dropping and your skin tissue is breaking out as it freezes. Says, are you kidding? My heart is positively racing. I just sat in on a 3-hour-long book club meeting about spy novels. I need to run some of this adrenaline off. I started down the sidewalk. He says, wrong way. I love that.
That's a great scene.
Question. So the author, Emily Henry, actually gave a Taylor Swift album to each of her books. I'll tell you what album was Beach Read for her after you tell me what you think Beach Read is as a Taylor Swift album.
Maybe Midnight?
Why?
Maybe. If I was reading the book and listening to that album, I would vibe with it, I guess. I don't know.
Emily said folklore.
Folklore? Folklore?
I also don't agree with folklore. I will go either Evermore or 1989.
Maybe 1989 as well, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, 1989 reminds me of beach and being at the lake.
She said folklore.
Folklore. I was like...
Did she have a reason for it?
No, she just said folklore. She went into the other ones. Folklore, it's very much like this love triangle. I don't see how you have Betty and James and... oh, you do have Gus. It was August. No, it's Augustus.
Yeah, it's Augustus, but you do have the song August on there.
Maybe that's why she said that.
Well, that's stupid.
Well, I don't agree. Anyway, with her.
I don't agree either.
Yeah, I would say either 1989 or Evermore.
I was just thinking Midnights because it's like, if I'm reading the book and the playlist it's going, I can see it, you know?
Yeah, hold on 1 second, because maybe she's onto something. Because the lakes is folklore. That makes sense. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change my answer. I understand why folklore. It actually kind of makes sense because you have Exile.
Oh, I love Exile.
Yeah, me too. You have This Is Me Trying. You have the lakes. The lakes, I kind of understand why she would pick that. My Tears Ricochet.
Oh.
I understand why she said.
Okay, I get it too. Okay, Emily.
You win.
You win.
Okay, is this a reread or just a redrink?
So I could reread it, but because it's not like a casual reread, like, you need to be in the mood to, like, feel things. Or at least have, like, some backup wine. What about you?
I really enjoyed this. It's not an immediate reread for me. Now that I know the twists and emotional reveals, I don't feel a strong urge to jump back right away. But it's one of those books where I'm happily to revisit in a few years when I've forgotten some of the details and want to experience the vibes again. Main character energy or delusional? Tell us! Tell us!
Main character vibes with occasional delulu. January is dramatic. She's self-aware and growing, but she's also deeply committed to her own narrative, even though she can visibly see it's crumbling and falling apart. She was like sticking to the love bit. I was like, girl, gotta grow up. What about you?
I said main character energy with occasional delusional tendencies. January spends a decent portion of the book creating narratives about people before she has all the facts, but she grows from it, but at some points in the books I'm like, babe, what's happening?
Would you recommend this to your grandmother?
Depends. If grandma enjoys contemporary romance with emotional depth, absolutely. If grandma wants a sweet, clean beach read with zero emotional damage, no, because she may call me afterward demanding to know why she's suddenly crying over fictional characters, and I'm like, I don't want to offend my grandma like that. You know what I mean? What about you?
Only if my grandmother is ready to unpack emotional trauma over tea. If she wants a cute love story, maybe not. But if she's ready for some feelings, complexity, and like morally gray parents, absolutely.
Alright, that's enough opinions for one episode.
But I have so much more.
We've read.
We've discussed.
But did we fully understand it?
That's still up for debate.
Follow us on everything at Reading Between Lines for more book chaos and questionable takes. I'm Cici.
And I'm Mariana. We'll see you next Friday with another book.
Another bottle.
And definitely more opinions you didn't ask for.
Need it.
And remember,
drink responsibly.
Actually critique irresponsibly.
Bye.
Bye.
Red talks about how his mother got invited on a last-minute date, the one with Lionel, and had to ask the neighbor, Cynthia, to babysit. As a Cynthia myself, I would just like to say, please leave me out of this. I don't want anything to do with this. He was just like, oh, Cynthia was in the kitchen. I was like, no, I wasn't. No, I fucking wasn't. I was nowhere near this scene, okay? Don't drag me into this, Brad, please. I have enough drama in my life. I don't need this. I don't need your drama in my life. Thank you so fucking much.